The Epic versus Apple
Oh,
court hearings start on Monday.
it's going to be interesting. We've been talking about this very consistently and for a long time, and now
Yeah.
we're going to see some more movement on it.
It's just there's so much interesting stuff coming out because of this. Some of it even about Apple. So back in 2013, Senior Vice President of Internet Software and Services Eddie Q apparently wanted to bring iMessage to Android, championing the cause so that they wouldn't lose out to Google in the mobile messaging space, considering how they had already dominated in mail, video, etc. In response, um, the senior VP of software engineering politely expressed the difficulty Apple would have convincing users on the Android side to switch to iMessage. We'd need more than a marginally better app. Craig also expressed a concern that it would simply serve to remove an obstacle to iPhone families giving their kids Android phones. So here's something I still have a hard time wrapping my brain around. iMessage gets put on this pedestal as like the killer app, a killer app for iPhone. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw this like series of tweets from someone saying that like denying iMessage to people that aren't on iPhone is like denying people like basic human resources. And by that I don't mean
Yeah, I understand.
that reference. Yeah, that references to earlier in the show, but I meant like food and water and housing and like stuff like that. And it's just like, what are you even possibly talking about?
Yeah, I
I
was, Yvonne and I were talking about this on the way home from work the other day. And she's like, what? Well, I can't see how not having iMessage would interfere with anyone's social life or something like that. And I'm like,
yeah.
right, because you, my dear, would never have anyone in your life for any extended period of time who actually made decisions based on what kind of phone someone else had. But
And
that
like
doesn't mean those people are not out there.
I I don't think I'm friends with anyone who would do that. I don't
Well,
think.
you wouldn't be able to because you're some kind of disgusting Android pleb.
Yeah.
Like,
And maybe
gross.
that's why. I've heard of it being a thing. Like I've heard of the like, like why are your text bubbles this different color? I judge you because I'm a douchebag. I've heard of that stuff, but I've never experienced anything like that
The
in my life.
Dreamstar says because it's there by default. You don't need your friends to install a third party app.
It's text messaging.
It's text messaging. Who
Everything has it by
cares?
default.
And also, because you're a good
I think even the that stupid watch that I reviewed had it by default. The
is your friend a
Yeah.
moron? They don't know how to install an app? Why do they even have a smartphone?
It's unnecessary. Get a flip phone. Yeah.
What are you talking
Learn some
about?
T9. Yeah. The what was that thing called? Neptune Pine. I'm pretty sure the
Yeah.
Neptune Pine had text messaging by
Of
default.
course
This
it
is not
did.
like a this is not an innovative thing.
Okay, Darkslayer asks, does iMessage do something special? All right, it has end-to-end encryption. Not the best on the market, but it is end-to-end encrypted. It has very robust support for media sharing. So very high quality picture sharing, low compression. That's a good thing. You can do your animojis or whatever. It has excellent
Email.
support for things like stickers and all that kind of reaction crap. Excellent support for group messages. All things that lots of other apps. I guarantee you, I could come up with apps most of you have never even heard of that have excellent support for all those things. Line, for example, huge in Taiwan, basically irrelevant for much of the rest of the world. It's awesome. It's got lots of great
Well,
features.
other than China, which it's huge there as far as my understanding goes.
Line?
But
I
yeah.
don't think so. I thought it's all WeChat in China.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. WeChat's a steaming pile of garbage if they didn't have like a government enforced basically monopoly. Like there's so many features, or there's so many things that you do through your WeChat account, like being able to, pay for things and stuff like that. Like if it wasn't for that, I can't imagine them having the kind of market share that they do. But
Yeah.
that's a whole separate conversation. Line is apparently big in Japan as well, according to Twitch chat. But yeah, Line sweet. Yeah, Fresh Prince of whatever this is, says iMessage is godly. Nope, it's just a messaging app. And it's actually the worst messaging app because it's not cross-platform. That makes it literally the worst messaging app. Any messaging app that is not cross-platform is like, why is it in my life exactly?
I genuinely like. I
understand.
feel like I need to sit down and like have a coffee with someone who genuinely thinks this stuff, just so I can like really get into their head, so I can understand it. Because I have been whiffed this whole time. Like I genuinely have never
So,
understood. It has
okay,
only seemed like a status
hold
symbol
on a
thing to
second.
me.
So,
Purely.
okay, that's it right there. The reason that you don't have a coffee with this person and can't get into their head is because you live in a completely different world, Luke. Because remember, the same kind of people that would decide, like I remember talking about this, I think it was on Tech Linked, we might have talked about it on WAN Show, but your odds of being swiped whatever the correct way is on Tinder were something like 60+% higher if you had an iPhone in your profile picture versus having an Android phone. They like did a study on this.
Wow,
And
that's actually bonkers
the
to me.
reason for it is that you, as an Android pleb who doesn't give any cares about it, don't understand that there's a whole other group of people out there, none of whom you interact with because they wouldn't be caught dead talking to you, that really are that superficial, that will actually, notice that I am wearing Costco jeans and not ask me for directions and instead ask someone else for directions who's wearing jeans from, I don't know, a store that things cost more money or something. So you have to understand
Sure,
that
right.
the blue bubble means a lot more than just you have an iPhone and support for emojis. None of that actually matters, which is why iMessage zealots can never actually explain without sounding like complete assholes why they care about iMessage. It's because the real reason is that they're a pompous douchebag, not because there's any other actual reason.
Yeah, and that's what it's felt like. But like people keep on trying to make arguments, and none of them really make sense. So I keep on being like, this
Right.
doesn't. Yeah, yeah.
Because they whether they know it or not, the actual reason is because they're elitist douche nozzles, not realizing that if I'm rocking a Galaxy Fold or whatever, my phone actually costs twice as much as theirs, and it has absolutely nothing to do with being some kind of pleb. Like I remember I tweeted about this a little while ago. Like you can get a blue bubble for like $75 on eBay. Having an iPhone doesn't mean anything except
Oh
that
my
it
god.
means that it was important enough to you to have an iPhone that you are that kind of shallow. That's all it means.
That would be really funny. I wouldn't even be surprised if there is someone out there who like mainlines an Android device
Oh, it's a thing.
but
Before you
knows.
even finish, it's a thing. You route it through your iPhone to send to your iMessage peeps. And you just have an iPhone sitting plugged into a wall. It's totally a thing. I forget how to do it. But we talked about it when we were doing like
Oh my
Hackintosh or
goodness.
something. Like there's a whole
Yeah.
it's a whole thing that you can do.
Wow.
MadPerf X says
And
Linus is
that to
judging
be
our personal preferences. No, I'm judging other people's personal preferences.
yes.
Being an
Yeah.
iMessage elitist means you are an asshole, and that's not a personal preference. That's a bad attitude. It's that simple. I don't care if you have an iPhone. That's the difference. If you care that someone else doesn't, then you're an asshole, and that's not an opinion. That's just you being judgmental. And I'm allowed to judge you for being judgmental. You don't just get to play the you're being judgmental card and I should accept your judgmentality or whatever the word is for that. That's not how it works. You know? It's like when someone
I
walks up and kicks your dog and you punch them in the face. You are not the aggressor. They are. They had it coming.
yeah. Yeah. I also love how the example of how to fix it is like the most stereotypically over the top, working around the solution way too hard, Androidy type of thing. Like rerouting your messages through this device that you just have planted there. All like, oh my goodness.
Well, whatever. I don't make the rules, man.